1964 Buick Skylark.
Honestly, I think you deserve the Best Supporting Actress Oscar
For that.
for your recreation in this
Thank
film.
you.
There's a lot of, like, contention over whether she, like, deserved that or not. Miss Marissa Tomei. It was a big scandal because a lot of people didn't think she deserved it because it was a comedy.
No, I think she won the Oscar because she was literally just that hot.
So hot. It's Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman adjacent. Like the greatest anyone has ever worked on film
absolutely.
ever.
And every single outfit it's a completely different vibe. In every vibe, is
Yeah,
immaculate.
the jumpsuit.
Oh, stop! I have in my notes in all caps the fucking flower jumpsuit. Come on!
But if you couldn't tell, that was not me or Emily doing that really great Marissa Tomei as Mona Lisa Vito impression to top off the episode. We're here with special guest Joey. It is Emily's month, and of course, Emily had to invite one of our favorite guests to have on. You may remember from our Cat in the Hat or our Shallow Hal episodes. Two just solid bangers. And this is our podcast. It's The Swamp. It's an acronym.
It stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting, and I'm just so excited to have you here, Joey. I felt like this was a good way to round off my month, because I know you wanted to come back for a minute, and you picked a banger.
Yeah, give me all your money. Give me all of it. No, I'm so happy to be back. Love The Swamp. Love some whack-ass movie podcasts. This movie was on in my house frequently. But this is one that I was glad that it was on frequently because there are a lot of themes in this movie that are good. This movie is not like Shallow Hal. I can say that.
Not at all.
It's very, very different themes. But I'm so happy to be on here talking with you, dude.
I will say though, I am gonna absolutely lose my shit if there's like a fan cam resurgence about My Cousin Vinny that happens on TikTok immediately following this episode, because I never in my life.
Well, you just need to make it.
You picked it, we covered it, and then afterwards, my entire TikTok was that clip of Jack Black being like, some hotties are hotties on the outside, and some hotties... I was like, this is everywhere. Why the fuck? I've never heard of this in my life. So I guarantee you, like 3 weeks from today, it's gonna be like Joe Pesci fan cams.
I think that your TikTok is gonna be filled with, there's mud in the tires. There's mud in the tires.
But so you picked this movie because it's a personal favorite. It's nostalgic. What's your connect? Because Emily has never seen it.
I've never seen this movie.
I'm gonna say it's like it was always like on in a family member's basement at a party I didn't want to be at, and I'm like half asleep waiting for my parents to like wrap up socializing so we can go home kind of vibes. So like I've seen it definitely like in chunks. But what is your emotional state with this film?
So with this film, I love it, but always on the rewatches. I mean, I've rewatched this movie so many times, and even like recently, I've seen it a few times within the past couple of years. It's really hard to watch the beginning though, because it's filled with so many cringeworthy moments when Vinny is getting his footing in the lawyering world, and it was just even like my rewatch today. It took me a lot of like conviction to not press the skip button on some of these fucking moments. But I mean, this is another one of my movies. I mean, my dad's couch was the Iron Throne, and he ruled over that remote with an iron fist. And so he loves movies with Italian people. Joe Pesci's one Italian motherfucker. So it just happened to fall in there. And as a kid, I was watching it, and I was like, wow, can you really just bullshit like this? Like, that's incredible. Like, I can't wait to be a NASA scientist and walk in and be like, I put a square block in a square hole. That means I'm qualified to press these NASA buttons.
Well, that is just what being an adult is.
Isn't that basically what both of you... You two both work for the government, and I have a feeling that that's exactly what you two do.
No. No, of course not. I would never do that. What are you talking about?
No, I know exactly what I'm doing all of the time.
No. Actually, my opinions and beliefs do not reflect that of my employer, P&L, or Battelle, for that matter.
So you have to say that as a disclaimer statement at the top of...
Just to be careful sometimes.
I Well, I accidentally did tweet the word accountant instead of accountant once, and they can't fire me because I'm in a union, so it really can't get worse than that. Oh, we're on the streak of the 2 most Italian movies ever made. Honestly, we should just keep the ball rolling and cover, like, fucking The Godfather, Goodfellas,
every Godfather. The Goodfellas. Oh, I love Goodfellas too.
I've still never, again, one I haven't seen.
Are you Italiophobic? What is happening?
No, I'm Italian. I don't know. Joey, have you seen Moonstruck though? Because you seem like that's like your shit. Like you've never seen Moonstruck?
I don't believe I have. Is that an older movie? Or
it's 1988, I believe. Cher,
terrible year.
Cher is the main. Cher won the Oscar for it. Olympia Dukakis is also in it. Nicolas Cage.
That is such a naughty last name. You can't say that.
I know. Joey, it's Cher and Nicolas Cage are lovers, so
Emily, reel it in. We did Moonstruck last week.
I know.
Okay.
I know you're hot off of the
Emily,
Moonstruck.
there's a whole fucking podcast on it. Maybe you should listen to it sometime.
I'm rebranding this podcast to just talk about Moonstruck.
Moonstruck every week.
This is my call to anyone that hasn't listened to the Moonstruck episode, is that you have to listen to the Moonstruck episode before
some whack ass Moonstruck podcast. Ever think about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
But do we want to give a brief refresher for anyone that hasn't seen My Cousin Vinny, or who has and it's just been a while? Give a little plot filler.
Yeah.
Joy, I believe you should do the honors.
You want me to get in there? Okay.
Yeah, get up in there.
Okay, so the scene opens on a car on the road. Okay, so we have 2 people named Bill and Stan. You're good with actor names. Can you do actor names?
Ralph Macchio.
And
yeah,
some other white boy from New York or something. So these boys, they're in New York, but they're going to check out college in UCLA, so they're doing a cross-country road trip, going through the beautiful South. Going through, we get some beans at a convenience store. Nobody thinks that the beans are going to have consequences, but they fucking do. If we didn't take so long debating on the beans, this whole movie wouldn't have happened. Boys leave, and turns out, they're being framed for the murder of the clerk, but these boys did not murder the store clerk. And then after that, Ralphie boy is very, very sad, thinking about who he can call. Who he can call in his family to get him out of this jam. Calls no other person than Joe Pesci, who is a very fake lawyer with no credentials whatsoever. Has never lawyered a day in his damn life. Comes down to Alabama, does not fit in. His leather New York vibes do not match the muddy Alabama vibe down here. Mm-hmm. And so he tries his little best to understand the rules of the law and just roll with the punches during this trial. In the beginning, he is flippity-floppiting because he has no fucking clue what he's doing. And his beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fiance, Mona Lisa, is there supporting him the entire time. In the entire movie, all she does is try to help his fucking sorry ass. She never does a bad goddamn thing. She's just trying to be the most supportive person ever. So we love her very much. Mm-hmm. Everybody stands. Mona Lisa, veto. And so then... Vinny, is adapting to the situation, is learning the ins and outs of lawyering in the trial, and he's getting better as time goes on. And he goes and goes, and he goes and he goes, and he figures out a way to acquit these people of the murder that they did not commit. And so then when we're getting into the brief of the movie, he starts... interviewing all of these people, and he is hitting home fucking runs on this trial. He is like, girl, your eyes suck, therefore not guilty. and so that's what happened there. And so in the end, he does an incredible job bullshitting, and he gets these people acquitted of murder. And I mean, we'll talk about it way more in depth because there are so many like great fucking scenes in here. But that's like the main little story going on.
The main plot is that I think that Mona Lisa should have left Vinny so many times.
Mona Lisa should have just became the fucking lawyer. She could have
done it so much better.
She would have got up there. She would have fucking put her pussy on the phone and was like 1964 Beauty Skylark, and the trial would have been over. That's it.
She would have gotten up there, squirted on the judge, and then it would have been done.
Dude, you see when she was on the stand and Vinny was talking to her about being a car professional, the judge was looking at her and he had his hand on his cheek, looking at her with a twinkle in his eye, being like, Miss Vito, answer the question. Wink. It's like, okay, scumfuck. Her fucking fiance's right there. You skeevy little perv.
He's taking his pants off under his robe.
Yeah, he's like, Miss Mona Lisa Vito.
But she's the shining star of this movie. Her hair is the shining star. Her outfits are the shining star. And truly, just her inflection with every line delivery is like, it's like the Valley Girl equivalent of being from Brooklyn in the 90s.
Okay, we should probably like go through the outfits real quick.
It's the floral jumpsuit for me, but also the outfit she wears to the breakfast diner.
Black
to the diner.
In white jacket. Are you kidding me?
Shoulder pads touching each coastline. That's how wide they are.
Yeah.
And she's serving. Honestly, I think her worst outfit out of them all is the one that she testifies in, with those like big like applique circular.
That was like the purple, the purple and black.
It was like fine. That was like fine.
Yeah, no. That one seemed a little much, but the rest of it, I mean, even when she's walking around in the streets, she knows that she doesn't fit in, but she doesn't fucking care. She wears everything with such conviction. Oh my god, I can write a dissertation about Mona Lisa Vito serving cunt.
I need to put her on like my, what is it? What are those like boards that people make for like, where it's like, oh, these are my dream, like a dream board or whatever and all that shit? Yeah. She's on mine. I want to be that.
Well, that's truly like the prime example
Vision
of like people
board.
who are like, I don't think I can pull that off. I'm like, do you think Mona Lisa thought, yes or no, can I pull this off? No, she just put it on her body. And she served cunt. That's just what you have to do. Put on the lipstick, put on the outfit, and if you don't think about it, then you're serving it.
It truly is, oh god, Pretty Woman. Like, if she never got the transformation, you know what I mean? She never met Richard Gere, and she just kept doing what she was doing. And then she ended up with Joe Pesci, just still serving.
And I wish my only gripe with this movie is that I wish we had more backstory about how they met. Like even if it was like a sentence or something. I just want to know how the fuck hot smoking gun Mona Lisa Vito pulled out the fucking greasy gutter jelly bean Joe Pesci. I don't understand it.
Honestly, it's really giving like Julia Fox and Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems to me.
Exactly that. That's so dead on.
And Marissa Tomei is the Julia Fox of this film. That she just is. Everyone's like, yeah, I guess that guy pulled you by, but he's not rich because he's never. So the thing about Joe Pesci's character, Vinny, that makes absolutely not a lick of sense is that not only is he like incompetent doofus of a man, and they explain this through that he's never won a case. It took him 6 tries to pass the bar. It seems as if he like went through law school like late in life, and then like it's like had some sort of transformation. Couldn't pass the bar, finally passed the bar. But he said he was a personal injury lawyer, but we never really got any substance as to whether that was like legit or just a thing he said he did, because they're like, you actually have no experience. But there are just some fundamental things about his fuck-ups in court that you literally could not pass law school or the bar. Even if you failed 6 times, if you don't know that they're, what is it, like when they have to give you the evidence or whatever? Evidence disclosure. That's like day 1. That's what you learn on day 1. If that didn't get through his thick skull, you're not passing 20 times.
But that was so fucking funny when he came in after he got all the evidence from from the other lawyer, and he was like, he's like, Mona Lisa, I just scammed this guy out of everything, and she's like, you fucking doofus, he's the best fucking evidence disclosure. Like, she's so boss. Oh my god.
Like, she read like one chapter of one book, and she knows more than him.
Oh yeah. Like, how could you be that dumb as bricks, though? Because he goes into, what is it, like, the pre-trial thing? What the fuck is it called?
Starts with an A, I think.
The hearing.
Where you go and you're like, are they guilty or are they not guilty? Oh, when you go in, oh my god, what the fuck is it called? We have a law student here and they don't even know.
Is it a hearing?
No. It starts with an A.
Maybe it's hard to be a lawyer. Maybe we gotta give him some credit.
Affidavit.
After David.
But like he literally couldn't even say like guilty or not guilty. Like you gotta be brain dead.
It was the worst. Even after the judge for like 5 minutes is roasting him, being like, "You're short, you look ugly, your suit's all fucking whack." And then he's like, "Just say guilty or not guilty." And he's like, "Okay, I get it." And he's like, "Did you not hear what I just said, you gnome?" And then he fucking charges him 200 smackaroonies, which is quite expensive back then.
Arraignment. It's an arraignment.
Arraignment. That's the A. Fuck, man, words are hard.
But Emily, so we actually have some like lawyer adjacent, a lawyer consultation and a future lawyer adjacent consultation because Emily's partner is currently in law school. Absolute slay. Maya, do you have anything to say on behalf of the legal student community in regards to my cousin Vinny?
I just want to say that everything is extremely accurate, and that's about as much cunt as you can serve in a courtroom. They actually kind of like met the threshold, so you can't do anything more than that. But that's the precedent.
And so can we kiss any witness's hand that's on the stand? Is that?
Yeah, actually, you can go so far as to lick their hands.
Okay.
Yeah, we
suck on a fingy.
Yeah, suck on a fingy. Of course, you ask beforehand. And yeah.
What about the judge? Is the judge off limits?
The judge is never. Okay, people don't know this, but the judge is like almost always being sucked off while he's on the bench.
Well, fucking Herman Munster definitely was.
Is that why the robes are so big? So that they can just like walk in with somebody under them?
Yeah, and then someone like crawls in after them and just.
No. They're on one of those hoverboards. Gliding.
Yeah.
Wait, that makes so much sense because he's not saying order in the court, he's saying order in the cunt.
Mm-hmm.
When they're getting too messy.
Only a trained ear can hear that. So.
Thank you for the professional insight.
No, actually, I would like to call into objection. Is Maya professional?
I have notes on behalf of a practicing lawyer, very much like Ralph Macchio. I identify with this film because my cousin is a lawyer. My cousin Aaron.
Okay, well that title sounds so much worse.
And she's an immigration lawyer, and I was born here in America, so she really can't help me out in any sort of pinch. But I texted her about this movie and what she thought of it, and she certainly had a lot of things to say, and you were explaining him getting fined. And I just wanted to say that she said that nobody really takes the bar more than twice, 3 times the super extra, and she said it cost her about $2,500 with a prep course, having to stay in the hotel. It's a 3-day test. She was like, in total, it was about $2,500 to take it even once. So if you do that multiple times, so in theory, I know it's 1990, so let's say he didn't indulge in a prep course, but 6 times, that's putting you out some fucking cash, like, as far as investing into your future. And I guess, I mean, he went to law school, and let's assume maybe didn't graduate on time.
But we do have to give him some slack, though. Redeemable traits. He explained to Mona Lisa that he was working like every day and night during the week at the garage, and so we got to give my man some credit. He's doing mechanic work 24/7, and so we gotta let the man take the bar as many times as he wants.
Do you think that the reason he's so mean to his fiance is because he feels inadequate compared to her, because she's so good at being, 1, so hot, 2, such a good mechanic, and he's not good at anything?
I think it's like I'm gonna say no, because I think them being mean to each other, it's this constant sexual dance. That is their sexual tension, and one of the best scenes in the whole fucking movie is when the sink is dripping, drip, drip, drip. And Vinny is like, hey, Mona Lisa, excuse me, Miss Vito, did you leave the sink on? And she's like, well, no, I did not, even though I was the last one that used it. And he's like, well, you didn't close it all the way. And this sexual tension in this scene is palpable. You can see her looking at him with like this kind of stinky eye as they keep talking. And then at one point she's like, "What? I used the fourth French, and I measured the fourth and how much torque it would take to close to close the faucet." And then it's just like it's so sexy, and then they get super close and they start doing really cute like scientist role play, which everybody should get into. But it was just like, oh my god! But that's all they do. Anytime they get mad at each other, it's just a sexual dance. The end of it's gonna end with a bunch of splatter.
The way she says torque really did something for me.
Right?
But
Torque.
But I have this theory, though, as to why they're together. Because I think that a witch or a troll of some sort put a curse on Joe Pesci and made it so that he cannot say anything without using some sort of extended metaphor. So he's not saying, I need to go to the grocery store. He's like, you know when your car needs oil? And you gotta give the car oil, and you go to the mechanic. That's sort of what it's like for me when I'm hungry, and we gotta go get the oil for my car. And it's like, what are you saying? And Marissa Tomei has an affliction where she cannot understand anything that is not being put into terms of a car for her. So she found this guy who it clicks for her because it's like, no, we're not fucking. We're applying torque to your pipe. You know, we gotta simplify it for Mona Lisa, and that's why they're together, because how else?
Like, this movie is basically like the catalyst for, like, you know, okay, mind you, Marissa Tomei is obviously like so incredibly sexy, but you know when it's just like someone is so good at such a niche thing, and it's like they don't even have to be like hot. That dials it up to about 9,000. If you're like such a fucking genius at this one specific thing, like, I'm sopping.
Honestly, for me, usually knowing a lot about cars is a big red flag, because like, why do you gotta know that much? Just
like a woman knowing about cars.
But when Marissa Tomei does it, I'm like,
yeah.
You can do my inspection sticker anytime.
Can you imagine if she's like, damn, does that ass have pulse attraction? Like, what? Okay, at the end of the sink foreplay scene, after Mona Lisa Vito has made her sexy argument that she did not break the sink, the fucking thing was broken, then Vinny looks at her with, this little, like, sleazy look, and really close, like drawing her into his face, lips almost touching. He goes, I guess the fucking thing is broken then. Oh, come on. Come on. It's like, baby, you got trial tomorrow. We can't stay up fucking all night. What are you doing? Oh.
I just know you would die to be sandwiched in between them in that moment.
I would. Oh my god.
Wait, tag yourself. I'm the dripping sink.
I'm the thick law book that Marissa Tomei read like 30% of and then never touched again. I'm the fuck out of me.
I'm the butter on the grits.
Have either of you ever had grits? I don't think I have.
Yeah.
No. When I was younger and I watched this movie, I was like, I think grits must be the most fucking disgusting thing in the world. But I'd be very open to trying it. I have no idea.
They're good. I'm going to get into that later.
A little bit of cheese in there. Yep. I feel like it can't be bad.
No, they're really good. And they're not hard to like.
I mean, is that shit just like mashed potatoes? Or is it like totally different?
It's like corn mashed potatoes. I can rock with them. And I like that you can do them sweet or salty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, about the food. Why was Marissa Tomei so fucking obsessed with the Chinese food in the beginning?
Oh my god, what are you, a fucking world traveler?
Is it just setting context for, like, they're from New York, which, like, they don't need to do, considering the way they look and the way they talk?
Yeah, it's like, why
Like,
why
what
do
if
we
New
why do
York
we need
is
to
like
beat
the
this dead
Chinese
horse into the
food?
fucking ground? It's like, we completely understand. What do you think? Maybe somebody was, like, mistaken that they were from New Jersey or something.
But the number of times
Can't
he's like,
have
in
that.
Brooklyn. He's like, back home in Brooklyn.
Oh my god! Oh, sorry. And then the quote during the sync foreplay. I can't get over this scene.
Do you want to go jerk off really quick?
Listen, I'll just put my judge robes on and somebody will do it for me under the bench.
How do you know someone hasn't been?
There was one part when Mona Lisa was talking about the torque wrench. She looks at Vinny and goes, "I twisted it just right with the force wrench."
This is what I'm saying, is that she's incapable of understanding basic human things. She's like, wait, how do we put this into, like, mechanic terms? And now I understand.
Oh yeah, and so the whole metaphor thing, especially that scene with Law just being like, law proceedings being like taking a carburetor off of a car.
I will say I timestamped exactly when they said the title of the film in the film, because I think that would be a great jumping off point, because this movie, he says, "My cousin Vinny," and then there's almost like a freeze frame for you to like clap or something. And I feel like movies where they say the name in the movie and then it's like an epic moment. But I've got to say, Ralph Macchio cannot act for shit. He's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Terrible.
We're being arrested? And I'm
That was awesome. And especially when I shot the clerk.
I shot the clerk!
I shot the sheriff!
I was just obsessed with the way he said "ma." Ma! Ma, it's alright. Ma, calm down.
The progression of that phone call of, "Ma, we got in some trouble. We got arrested. Ma. Yeah, they're trying us for murder. Ma, come on. Come on, Ma. We didn't do it." Like, you could have, there's definitely a better path you could have taken to make that phone call better. And then the dumbass Stan being like, "Help us out down here. Come on, they all sleep with their sisters." And then all of the police officers look at him and are like, "We're right here, little white boy. What are you saying?"
I will say, though, this movie is
Don't talk about my wife like that.
This movie is pretty
She's my
anti-cop.
favorite sibling.
This movie is pretty anti-cop in the way that it's like, don't say shit to the police unless you have a lawyer present. That's a pretty good lesson you could take away from this film, because this movie doesn't really paint the police or the judicial system to be either way particularly, which I think is super rare for especially a courtroom drama. They're usually highly political, but I think almost every character was just perceived as somebody doing their job. Like the defense lawyer, or was that what it's called? The defense lawyer was not like painted to be the villain, which would be a super easy path to go.
Yeah,
he was like, he's like, I'll give you my stuff. Yeah, I'm literally just like trying to do my job. Like this.
He's pretty neutral.
Yeah, and especially the sheriff at the end when he was going to search for the stolen car. As soon as he came back, he was just like, "Damn, like you were fucking right." It absolutely was so, and it was so nice to see that it's like we have lawyers for. We have lawyers for a reason, and hopefully, and they're all trying to do their job, but at the end of the day, hopefully, it's like there is, even if the odds are stacked against you, hopefully, like the truth will make sense at a certain point, and you will be absolved of your crimes.
But I will say the most accurate thing about this is like people just getting falsely accused are then just at the mercy of the judicial system. Like that's just something that I'm sure happens every single day in this country. Like this thing happens to them and they have no control over it. And now if the system is going to work for them or against them, that just depends. And a little IMDb trivia that I found was that originally they were considering casting for the two boys who are, what are their names? Stan and
Billy.
That those were going to be Will Smith and Ben Stiller. And they were like, a young African-American man and a young Jewish man just simply would not be afforded even a trial. They probably would have just, They're like, this story cannot progress beyond the interaction with the cop if we cast these two. And I think they already had, gotten Joe Pesci, so that also didn't really make a ton of sense.
Yeah, I feel like if you had those two, then it's like at that point a decent amount of the movie would probably have to be directly about them instead of like Vinny's involvement being the focus.
I also think another pretty accurate thing was that the state assigned, what is it called? Like the state assigned lawyer, the public litigator or whatever.
Public defender.
Yeah, the public defender just like wasn't great at his job. But that it isn't that public defenders are bad, but it's typically that they're overworked, underpaid, understaffed, and that like typically a public litigator will be just given these sort of like quote unquote like throwaway cases or whatever that they don't have any time to prep for. And I don't really like that they used like him having a speech impediment or like him being bad at public speaking as sort of this like write-off thing. I really think it could have been a little bit more impactful if it was like he's like, yeah, they gave me all these files yesterday, and I don't know jack shit about any of this because, like, it's my third week here, and I get paid minimum wage. Like that would have made a lot more sense. But
that's my dad's favorite part of the movie. He after he watched the movie, the rest of the night he will walk around the house and go, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," and he just like. For hours he will do that, and he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. And I'm like, Dad, what about Conti Mona Lisa Vito? Talk about her.
But that's like people like that have like a sense of humor. Like that was their Carrie Fisher in Star Wars. You know what I mean?
I don't fucking know what you mean. I have no clue what you mean, Emily.
Like Carrie Fisher in the little like the tiny little like bathing suit or whatever, like typical bland broke, not broke because I love her, but that's broke woke Mona Lisa Vito in that jumpsuit.
okay, that's
you know what I mean. Okay,
I can get behind that.
But two
We're gonna
things
have a moment of contention.
Two things about this movie that in the screenplay I didn't really love, that I think were trying to be funny, that just kind of were hammered so to death that I didn't really appreciate, or like even after it was done the second or third time I was like, can we fucking stop with this, is the them getting waken up at every hotel.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I am so over this, and it really wasn't funny the first time, and him, like, not being able to get sleep and falling asleep in the court, and then being like, I'll go to prison for the night, I'll get better sleep. If that's the punchline, fucking scrap the joke and make this movie 90 minutes.
It does not progress the plot. I think I'm completely on board. There is definitely a good 30 minutes of this movie that could have gotten thrown out the window, and the movie would have been probably better.
Yeah, the fact that I turned this on and I was genuinely shocked that it was 2 hours.
No, absolutely. And that's why when I was like planning my day out today, improperly, unfortunately, but when I was planning out my day, I was like 2 hours. I was like, I just set 2 hours aside. I do not remember that being the case. That's fine, whatever.
I had this movie for breakfast, and it was like a weird way to start my day.
Ew, what did you eat for breakfast?
I had cold pizza and coffee. It was not great.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely Vinny vibes if I've ever heard of him.
Me just trying to flip through my law book, learn the Alabama ways real quick before I get to court.
I'd like to think that I went Mona Lisa on this one, because I had a steak dinner last night when I watched this.
Oh, okay.
Steak and frites.
Please don't tell me that they were. What are when fries are really thick? Are those called steak fries?
No, they were like, that's the opposite.
Fuck
like,
a steak fry.
Yeah, no, we had like the teeny tiny little guys.
Are those like shoestring
fries?
Shoestrings. I thought that it was fucking hilarious when Ralph Macchio in the beginning was at the convenience store and was handed like a 3/4 filled slushie and was like, fill it up.
That's why he got shot. He pulled that shit with the next guy and he blasted his ass.
Yeah, in My Cousin Vinny 2, we actually find out on Ralph Macchio's deathbed that he did fucking shoot the clerk between the eyes because he wronged him in the slushie department. Fucking bastard. Oh my god.
I think there's a lot. I think there's a law in Alabama that if that happens, you're able to stand your ground.
Yeah, let's.
Like slushy specific.
Yeah, that's like written into the law. It's like this is one thing that can excuse you firing your personal firearm.
Yeah.
Especially like at a low wage service worker down there, no rights.
The bit with Stan and Vinny, and right before Vinny comes into the prison, Stan is like talking to Ralph Macchio's character and is like, a big guy named Bubba will protect you, but you'll have to become his sex slave. It's like, Stan, what do you know about prison, my boy? You don't know a goddamn thing. What are you talking about?
You go to NYU, my dude.
It's like, if you think that this is true, like your education has failed you in an insane way.
And then Vinny like walked in and immediately Stan had the audacity to think that Vinny would fuck him.
Yeah,
he would be so lucky.
But to Stan's credit, Vinny was saying many things that sounded like he wanted to, Twinkiefy him.
He's like, you jerking me off? He's like, no, I'm not gonna jerk
he's
you
like,
off.
he's like, you putting your cock in me and asking me if I'm STD free, and then I say yes, it's okay for you to come all inside me. What
is that? What you're saying?
He's like, oh no, that's just lawyer lingo. Calm down over here. Fuck.
That's what they teach you in law school.
I thought it was so, once again, cunty of Mona Lisa when she had her little camera and took a picture of Vinny the first time he got out of jail, like it's a fucking memento.
Oh my god. Dude,
with all the protesters who hate the death penalty.
And then that was like such a random piece of information. She's like, they're gonna fucking fry a guy next week.
I texted Joey in the middle of watching this and was like, you remind me of Mona Lisa so much. And the way that you're doing her impression so well now just confirms everything that I had built up.
Thank you so much. Anytime I watch this movie for a little bit after, I definitely am like so New York build. Like it's fucking it's Mona Lisa out the ass when I watch this.
Imagine this. You're a deer, and you go and you're thirsty, and you put your little deer lips down to a brook, and then BAM! Shot between the eyes. Now tell me, would you know the kind of pants he was fucking wearing? Oh, that little monologue, I was like, that's why she won that Oscar bid.
Stop, that is so fucking good.
She's so real. I want to know, who was she up against this year?
I looked it up and I didn't know any of the contenders, but then again, it was 1992, so I was not alive, and also I'm not like well versed in Oscar baity 90s cinema, so I didn't really know any of the things it was up against, and I was like, give it to her.
Juliette Lewis.
Huh. The part when right after Mona Lisa fucking destroys everybody in the courtroom with her automotive knowledge, and Vinny kisses her hand, she does this motion where she's on the stand and she shrugs in a cute way, and then she puts out her hands and she just like she just shrugs and she's like, ugh. I don't even know what that move is called, but she was so giggly and happy that her hubby was happy with her performance on the stand. It was so adorable, and couple goals. So.
There's like a couple moments where I loved them together, and the rest of the movie I hated them because I thought she deserved so much better.
Yeah,
and I get it.
Especially
he's
that part when they were at the cabin and Mona Lisa starts going off about Gene. It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. We're not married yet. When's it gonna happen, Vinny? And then he goes off on her for like 10 fucking minutes, just reaming her about all of the pressures he's under, and she can't help him at all, and he's just feeling so bad. It's like, she has done nothing besides like be the atlas to your globe and fucking lift you up no matter what. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, what a little C word. I don't like it. What a cunt. Little Vinny cunt. Angry.
If I was involved with Miss Lisa, I would have proposed to her and married her within a month.
Put a ring on it.
Awesome. Are you kidding me?
I would have gone to law school. I would have put myself through law school and passed the bar first time to get with that out of work hairdresser. I'll tell you, I would have done it.
And then after the trial, guess what? The FBI guy that was on the stand, they're gonna fucking hire Miss Mona Lisa Vito because she is the world leader in general automotive knowledge.
Yep. Bro, did Vinny even give her a thank you at the end? Like, come on.
No,
She was
like, she said.
At the end when they were driving away, she was like, "Oh, and not even a thank you, Benny." It's like another gripe is that I wish in the end he wasn't a piece of honk shoe and was very nice to her instead of like fucking throwing her aside. He's like, "Yeah, we'll get married this weekend." She's like, "Go to therapy."
This is the spin-off this is the spin-off that I want. I want my Aunt Lisa. And I want to hear all about how she's like my car gets fucked up somewhere and I'm like stuck in a small town and she just has to fix my car and she ends up opening up her own like automotive shop or whatever and becomes very successful.
She ends up becoming the mayor of the town because everyone
Exactly.
just loves her so much.
Yeah,
really.
right. Or and then somebody burglarizes her automotive garage and she starts playing like L.A. Noire detective.
Oh
okay, well,
my
so I guess there was
God.
supposed to be a second movie, and they couldn't really get them to commit to scheduling because they both, kind of blew up and got, more famous after
Of
this.
course.
And he won the Oscar for Goodfellas, I think, like the year prior to this. So he was already like on his track, and he was in all those like Naked Gun movies or whatever. So he was doing fine, but she really launched after this, and they wanted to do a second one. And they wrote a script, but they couldn't get either of them pegged down for filming, and especially her. She's like, I don't know if this is right to like reprise this role. This might be a one and done. But then they killed it, and then years later they wrote another script that was supposed to be him much older, the two of them in New York City. He's a successful lawyer, she's the detective, and that they are like a working partner team now.
Stop.
And they're like New York City lawyers, and she's the detective, and she gets the evidence, and he he does the lawyering. And I was like, that could kind of slay, but also this movie does not need a sequel. I agree with Miss.
Can we make
Warren.
that?
No. If
I don't want
anything,
that.
she needs. If anything,
Her
like
spin-off.
she needs a side one off.
Yeah.
Because at this point, like her being sexy, is Joe Pesci alive still? Probably. Right?
I was just
Yeah.
about to ask that.
He
It's
is.
like
He's
it wouldn't make sense because it's like, I don't know, their whole relationship was so sexually charged. I think that played a big role, and so I think if anything, it would just need to be her with him not in the picture.
I was gonna say, yeah, now it would be like she's yassified Aunt May in the Spider-Man movies, and he looks like he's on his deathbed. He's like fully.
Yeah.
He's in that movie,
Yeah.
what, The Irishman? He's just like in every fucking like Italian mob
Yeah,
related
yeah, and
piece of media.
that looked like a movie about fucking gabagool ghosts.
Gabba Ghost.
Can you guys guess how old you think Marissa Tomei is? Because oh my god,
Okay, so she's probably slightly older, but has aged so gracefully that you wouldn't expect her.
I'm gonna
age.
say she's 54.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she's like 61.
she is 58 years old, which is
That is
insane. Because she
fucking
doesn't look a
crazy.
day over like 42.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
And that's what you get. That's what you get for minding your fucking business and helping everybody out.
Like she's probably about the same age as like the original Aunt May in like the Spider-Man movies.
Oh
but
my
like
god.
that's my
But she has
like
fillers.
the original Aunt May, that's your grandma. This is like she's a MILF. She is a MILF and they're the same age. But also mind you, I feel like I have not seen another movie besides this one and the Spider-Man movies with her. The Wrestler, yeah, apparently Anger Management.
That's
And,
not
King of Staten Island, she's in that one.
That's PD boy.
Yeah, The Big Short, the first Purge, The
What?
Ides of March.
Oh, was she the fucking mom in the first Purge? Oh my god.
Not a lot, like really.
Why?
It's
I
not
feel like she should. I feel like she should be in like so many big blockbusters.
right. That's what, dude. She got her Oscar and then like just kind of rode that. My darlings, do we want to get into our regularly scheduled programming?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is kind of tough because obviously Vinny and Mona Lisa are our two staples, but who do we want our third to be? The judge, Ralph Macchio, the
The judge.
defendant lawyer,
The
the judge. Okay.
The judge.
Oh,
Okay.
Joey has something to say about the judge. Was it
Okay,
you under
Joey.
there giving him head?
I'll never
Joey
tell.
went-
Or
Joey
I'll
went
tell in a sec-
uncredited
in a
in this
few
movie.
minutes.
No, Joey, pop off.
You want me to pop it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck, Marry,
fuck,
Kill.
Marry, Kill, Mona Lisa, Joe Pesci, Herman Munster.
Okay. Obviously, like we would expect, I'm going to like murder in a very violent and heinous way Joe Pesci. His time is over. He's, it's, you start to think about him as a person. It's like, you've done so many movies where you've done such heinous shit in all these mob movies. It's like, how much of that is you? Like, I think at some point.
Oh, you're
it's
talking
like,
about murdering Joe Pesci, like actual Joe Pesci, not Vinny.
this beef goes past the character in the movie. And I think, it's like, are you method acting? Was there a portion of your life where you've committed these atrocities?
Yeah.
And
Whose body
just-
did you dump in a river?
yeah, and so I'm going to kill him in order to, bring morality back to the United States of America.
Just to fuck with Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, so I probably, I don't know. I'd probably go skydiving with him, and then right before he pulls the cord, I'll ooh, shank. And then, it's like, since we're skydiving, adrenaline's rushing through our body, so you probably wouldn't feel it. And so he might just think I, slipped a finger in his pocket or something. And, then we'd land and he'd see the pool of blood and it'd be over. But, I don't know. I think that's... And then I'll say something really cool at the end, but I'm not really sure what right now, so I'm not going to say it. Okay, so I'm going to kill Joe Pesci.
Fully brainstorming.
Fucking Mary, damn. Okay. I'm going to marry Mona Lisa Vito.
Obviously.
So supportive. It's everything you want in a partner. Just lifting you up in all the best ways, and hopefully you reciprocate, unlike that scumfuck rat New York garbage piece of Joe Pesci. So just absolutely lovely. Would have such a good life with her. I'm pretty sure that I would have the sweatiest, most gruesomely passionate night with the judge. Okay.
Gruesomely passionate.
And so let's go through why.
Yeah, go
First
through
of
the
all,
motions with us.
Amanda-
Tell us what you do to him exactly.
He is so passionate about what he does. A man with that much passion, hopefully an amount of that passion translates to the bedroom. And I believe it would with him. Southern hospitality, treat me well in bed. Thank you. He also, the pure stature of this man, he's not a gentle giant because he owns his courtroom, but I think he's a lovely giant. And I think I feel I want to crawl up and I want to be little and crawl in your arms and be so little and inside there in the bed. So that would be nice.
Pretty similarly, I have this personal fantasy that's completely non-sexual about me and Shaquille O'Neal, where he tosses me into the air like a baby, because I think proportionally the average adult to a newborn is roughly me to Shaquille O'Neal, and I want him to cradle me in his arms. It's completely non-sexual, but I do feel like this is similar to what you and the judge are getting here. I want to be like how people throw their babies in the air kind of playfully. That's what I want with Shaq.
Maya just crawled out from behind me because I don't know what.
I'm so interested in that. Your non-sexual fantasy with Shaquille O'Neal,
How the fuck is that You're wow, holy fuck.
Freud likes to have a word with you.
Well, those pictures of him with the sugar glider. It's I want to be perched on his shoulder like that. That's what I want.
So
I don't think I could
want any movie that has a tiny human and a robotic giant. You want that relationship.
You do love the Iron Giant.
I'm Hogarth
the
and the Iron Giant. Absolutely, yeah. Of course. But I will say, I am unfortunately going to murder the judge, because although I think your assessment is correct, Joey, but I need to provide the people with diverse content. So I'm going to say my alternative plan of attack is I don't think
the fan service, Dara. Jesus Christ, grow a fucking backbone.
But I don't think the judge would not like my outfit. And I don't want to change. He would not want to fuck me, because he would say, you are not dressed for court. And I would say, I am dressed for not, for our night together out on the town.
But
I'm
isn't that your
I'm dressed
role
for
play?
my
Isn't
wife,
that your
Mona
role
Lisa.
play? It's like you walk in the room in like some sexy lingerie. He's like, I'm holding you, and and I wrote a note in my notes that says, "Come tempt of court," and so you walk in, and so you walk in with the sexy lingerie, and it goes, "I'm gonna hold you in contempt of court if you don't change out of that right now, then, miss."
Wait, maybe you're hard pivoting my opinion, because maybe I kind of like, I wear something naughty into the courtroom, and then we we really play it up.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, as far as like weird role play, I think I could have like a night that would maybe not be satisfying, but certainly memorable with Joe Pesci, where we do like a weird role play. He's into some weird shit,
I can't validate a man like that.
I could do some killer stand-up about it after, like this weird lawyer guy from Brooklyn I fucked. I don't know. All female comics, stand-up comics, have to do like a guy I fucked bit, So like Joe Pesci's gonna give me that, and then obviously I'm gonna marry Mona Lisa. Duh. What about you?
I'm gonna jump onto the train with Joey, and I'm gonna fuck the judge. But here's my fantasy, is that I'm waiting there in his judge chambers afterwards, after Joey's done like 90% of the legwork in the courtroom.
You fucker, you're profiting off of my hard work.
I'm gonna be wearing one of his robes, but nothing under it.
Hot.
And then it's just like a 5-minute stint, tops, and that's all I need. That's all he needs. I need a lot more.
I'm on SSRIs. I need it a lot more.
And yeah, obviously I'm gonna kill Vinny because I think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And me and Marissa Tomei are gonna have matching jumpsuits, and I'm gonna cook her so much shrimp and grits. Not shrimp and grits, just grits in general. But getting into that, for my food and drink, I'm gonna say that you eat shrimp and grits for this. I'm gonna say you elevate the grits. So you do shrimp and grits with this, and then you go and you do, there's this cocktail that's been going around on TikTok, and it's basically a Miller High Life, and you pour out a little bit, and you put some Campari in it with a little lemon juice, which is kind of like trailer trash, because it's Miller High Life.
Miller High Life, the champagne of beer.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Modelo!
Yes, there we go. But then you elevate it with the New York part, and and you add that little Campari and that lemon juice, and it's like a pretty decent. It's actually pretty decent. It's a good meal in my head. It's a good meal.
I would say I thought you were gonna yassify the shrimp and grits and make it like shrimp scampi. So you do to grits what you do to the scampi. You do a little bit of like a little bit of parm, a little bit of lemon juice, and you scampi a fry. You shrimp. And then you scampi on them grits. And I think that could be kind of fire, actually. As somebody who's never really had grits. But I've had something that I think is grits adjacent, and that's my suggestion, which is polenta. And my original thing was you do a sloppy Joe in Marissa tomato sauce, but that was too bad for me to even.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't. But so I was thinking Italian, and then I was like, oh, you do like arancini. Right, arancini balls. But then I think you sub it out and you can do polenta balls. So you can do like fried balls of polenta. So you make like a nice polenta is like grits, like sort of grits. But I think honestly more Italian. Like Italian grits is polenta.
Italian grits. Say. That's a great way to put it.
And so you do polenta, and then you make it however you want. I would do it with like a little pesto and Parmesan cheese. Ball it up, put it in some panko, like shallow fry it, and so in a nice marinara.
And then you put it in the judge, right?
Yeah.
In?
And then my only
in his mouth. What are you? No,
Stop! I know what you're trying. You just think because he has all those flaps and folds that they can store food well? That's not right.
And then my drink is super basic, but I think a San Pellegrino, because I just kept thinking about how Marissa Tomei's character would say, like, San Pellegrino, or, like, fucking whatever. So you do just your clear liquor of choice and a nice little San Pel, with some
that's a good idea.
citrus juice and ice. I like that. What about you, Joey?
There are these food stands in New York City on the streets, And on the top of the umbrella, it says Rose's Nuts. She has all kinds of different nuts. Anything you could think of, any kind of glaze, and different types of sugar, salt. We have savory, sweet nuts. I don't think we have bitter nuts. You're gonna have to go somewhere else for those.
Wait, Joey, I don't want to interrupt you, but can I share a fact with the classroom? Is that
Please.
today on this day that we're recording, I ate a hot dog for the first time in over a decade of my life. You said food cart, and that really reminded me. I haven't had a hot dog in maybe 10 years.
10 virgin dog years?
And I had one today. Isn't that nuts?
What'd you think?
But did you feel fucking gnarly?
I was like, yeah, it's a hot dog. But I just truly have not had one since I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, and I'm fully well into my 20s now.
Can the rest of you really quick? Okay.
Bully her?
No. So when I was younger, my Pepe would give me raw hot dogs as a treat. Did anybody else
you've
have
told me
those
about
as
this.
treats?
My grandma would cut them into shapes like an octopus and put them on my mac and cheese. That's how I best enjoyed a hot dog, or in a nice grilled bun. But today I had it with sauce, which sauce means like chili.
Yeah.
I had like a chili dog. But Henry ordered it. He goes, 4 dogs with sauce. And I was like, where the fuck do you think we are?
Where were you?
Coney Island.
Yes!
Yummy.
I'm sorry, Joey, but these nuts, I love a pecan, a glazed pecan.
Yes.
Honestly, sends me into orbit, especially in a salad. But on their own, I know what you're talking about from the stands.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hot
And
nuts.
I think the best.
Love
I think
a hot nut.
I think the best of Rose's nuts, the ones that I would get every time when I go to Yankee Stadium, would I don't know. I went to Yankee Stadium too much. I'm not a fucking Yankee Stadium bitch. I don't belong there. But the honey roasted like normal peanuts. That's enough. That's enough to get me there. Enough to get me there. Get me off before I see the Yanks go to battle. And then the drink is a Pepsi because Canadians love putting peanuts in Pepsi and then drinking it after the peanuts have been soaking in the Pepsi.
Is that for real?
You can ask any slightly older Canadian and they will tell you that is a delicacy.
All of our boomer Canadian listeners, shout out in the comments below. Y'all be like in the peanut Pepsi.
Okay, listen. We're fucking shadow banned on TikTok. So if you believe in Pepsi peanuts, fucking like our shit. Give us some Riz.
Okay, Joey is maybe mocking my earlier statement that I didn't make, but I wanted to tell everyone that we're shadow banned on TikTok because we made a TikTok about Heathers, and Heathers has some violent content regarding bombing schools, and that is acceptable to be taken down. I'm not mad that our content got taken down, but we're shadow banned, so we're not being put onto people's For You pages. So if anyone would take the time out of their day to just manually look up the Swamp Pod TikTok and just like our most recent video, or even just like click on it, engage with our shit, we're really trying to. It's been a big flop Tina era, I've got to say.
Yeah.
So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it.
If you share videos from the Swamp Pod TikTok, come find me on Instagram at Delicate Donuts, and I will send you a personalized message about whatever I'm feeling at the moment, and it will be personal. I'll tell you.
Joey,
do I have your permission to put it in the link below? Because it'll be the first link will be Joey's Instagram handle. Y'all can go find Joey.
So listen, once I'm going to repeat it one more time because this is not an offer you should take lightly. If you share anything from the Swamp Pod TikTok, I will personally curate a message directly to you. And if we hit it off, we can become friends. You can come over to my apartment if you're out on the West Coast and look at all of the weird shit I got in my apartment, and maybe I'll make you a really cool drink. Maybe you want some absinthe. Maybe you want a Corpse Reviver number 2. I'll make it for you if you boost the Swamp Podcast on TikTok.
Thank you, Joey. Love and appreciate you always. And
watch our podcast take off after this.
Joey is the singular only individual who has ever bought the Swamp printed booty shorts from our merch. And
wait, really? The only?
I think
Oh,
I'm
of
one
course,
other
yeah.
person.
That's so fucked up. I love
I
it.
really think you might be the only one. They're a little fucked up in the printing, so the word ass kind of dips into your crack a little, like, too much if you've got some cheekage going on. But Joey, if you find on our Instagram, our merch, like, little highlight section is Joey spreading full hole, showing the swamp merch, booty shorts.
Yeah. And maybe another thing, if you would like me to send that picture, maybe a personal swamp spread pic directly to you, I will.
Full grundle on display. Oh my god.
See, it's the word ass. It's as some whack as. The second S gets cut off in the seam. I gotta rework the graphic design. It's not like I do that for work.
For everyone missing this, Joey is currently teabagging us and holding his taint. So...
What? My mama didn't teach me that.
We deserve it because that's our own merchandise. But what is everyone following this movie up with? I'm dying to know.
I would like to think that I have a really good one for this.
Run it.
It is, again, one of those ones where it says the name in the movie and it, like, pretty early on, and it also is a group gets stuck in the South and has to figure their way out. And it's To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
Oh, we honestly should cover that so soon because I've been dying to with all this John Leguizamo like resurgence.
Yes, he's having a moment right now, and that movie just really like did something for me in my brain. Like I watched it like mid like COVID lockdown shit, and it just something changed.
Love. That's a great suggestion. I have two, which are both the big softballs to me. They're the big softballs, which the first one is A Time to Kill. This is a bad movie, but I'm going to tell you to watch it anyways. It's a Southern courtroom drama. We're already on a similar vibe. It's Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock. And it is the sweatiest movie to ever be produced on film. Because they're like, we're in the deep South, and we're just gonna embrace that we're like filming in Alabama in the summertime, and everyone is slicked the fuck up. Hot. But it's this courtroom drama, and basically they're like, let's talk about racism in the South, but in a court drama. And it's Matthew McConaughey being a big white savior. And it's a bad movie. It's bad. Yeah. But everyone is sweaty. The dialogue is corny. It's like from the 90s. It's kind of like, it's another bad court drama that's, I would say, an easy transition from this where you're like, what? That's not how things are. Very similar. And then, obviously, Legally Blonde, the courtroom scene. The courtroom scene where she says a perm doesn't last for how much time, because whatever, is just the exact replica of a car only has so much torque, whatever. It's it's the same, and it's great, and it's girl bossery. Pause attraction, and perm chemical lastage. It's the same, and it's great, and we love it. And I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna be.
What about you, Joey?
Okay, so I have two as well. The first one is just on the theme of automobiles. Okay. After this movie, when you're going to sleep and, the only phrase in your head is 1964 Buick Skylark. When that's in your head, you need to go watch the movie Cars. You need to look at cars, and you need to look at every kind of car so that you can get this cars out of your fucking head. And so that's number one. And number two is Brokeback Mountain, because you need to continue the sexual tension from this movie and bring it up 10 notches.
Bring it up to this movie, Beans, sexual tension.
I think Brokeback Mountain and My Cousin Vinny are parallels.
More similar than one would think. I would also say we had a listener. I cannot credit you right now because this is just coming off of top of mind, but we asked people for questions quite a while ago, and somebody said, will you ever delve into the Cars universe? And that kind of piqued my interest because I was like, what do they mean? Like, just, like, pictures cars? And then I read it. I got in a Reddit hole, and everyone's like, how do they get circumcised? And I was like, oh, God, I can't be tackling the big questions, like how the cars fucked and birth.
I would love to go over car anatomy with you. Oh, my God.
We'll have you back for this. The only stipulation is that you have to talk in the Marissa Tomei voice the entire podcast.
Yeah.
We are doing bad on TikTok. Please follow us on TikTok, interact with our content. All of our shit is in the description below, as well as Joey's personal Instagram. DM Joey. If you share our shit, you're going to get some sort of personalized message. Joey's doing a service to us. We did not pay him to be here.
Even you could, it doesn't even have to be me messaging you. You could ask me to like do anything, and I'll do most of it.
Oh, you heard what he did to the judge.
But also, as far as future guests, if y'all have other people that you think that you would like to be on the show, content you consume, DM us, because we put out a little poll a couple weeks ago of like other podcasts and stuff. Podcasts you listen to, content creators, other stuff. We're looking to collaborate with people, but we're specifically looking to collaborate with people that you guys like, you know, people who listen to our shit. So tell us who you like, tell us who you think we would vibe with. That would be extremely helpful, honestly. You know, just as far as like a jumping off point, because all of you are amazing. And recently a listener DM'd me, was like, oh, I feel so like out of your demographic because I'm 30. And I'm like, no, we just talk about like the high school lesbians because they're the ones who DM us the most. But truly, I know all of you are out there and matter. And like our demographic is actually fairly diverse as far as age, gender, location around the world. You know, if you're like from fucking Denmark, you probably have more swamp listeners around you than somebody near where we live. You know what I mean? So so don't ever hesitate to DM us about movie suggestions. The niche shit that you like, especially. We love to hear that. Especially like just for personal recommendations. Love to hear about the kind of movies y'all love to watch. Oh, wait, we have to do... Oh my god, I did this last week, too. We have to do this out of 10, but let me wrap up my shit. Just click all our links below. Send us stuff you like. I love you all. But what are we giving this movie out of 10? I did this 2 weeks in a row.
Besides the really cringy moments and beginning Vinny, I really like the rest of the movie. Marissa Tomei fucking destroys this goddamn movie. Like, truly, the focus is on her, should be on her. And I don't know, I would give this movie like a really solid like 7.5. Like, I really think that besides the cringy parts, I think it is like super fucking enjoyable. I love the banter besides when they're angry between Vinny and Mona Lisa Vito. I love it.
Oh, we heard.
Much. So 7 or 7.5.
The faucet scene.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5. I think it's a solid. It's good and it's fine, and I like it. But I think it's primarily subsidizing a section of my brain that's like movies to fall asleep to, movies you put on at parties, movies with like good dialogue bits that aren't necessarily good movies beginning to end, but you like to hit those like high points, right? You like to hit those Marissa Tomei points, and I want to be doing something else. I want to be chilling. I want to be whatever. But I want my cousin Vinny on while I'm, you know, doing exercise shit. And it's fun, and I like it, and it's very nostalgic in the way to me that it's like on in your cousin's basement while you're at the Easter function and you don't want to be there, but this is your solace.
Yes.
So I understand that. What about you, Em?
I'm gonna give it a 5.5. I had a really hard time grasping onto it until it got to like the actual courtroom action and stuff like that. Like everything before that, which was probably like an hour and like 12 minutes or so, I just didn't really care for it. And I think part of it is that like I don't have the nostalgia for it that you guys do, which I wish I did, because I could see myself really liking this movie a lot more as like a young person, but I'm just past it, I guess. But I did enjoy it, and I do think it's like a decent movie. I'm not mad about it. I'm glad that I watched it, and I do think there is that good dialogue, kind of sprinkled without, and some really good jokes. But also, like you mentioned, Joey, there's a lot of like cringe moments, kind of thing. So I'm gonna stick it a little above the halfway point and give it a 5.5.
Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. I did my whole spiel earlier. Please interact with our TikTok. We love you all. Thank you so much, Joey, for being here. I'm sure we'll have you again and again. Suggest your shit, everyone. We love you. That's all. Goodbye and good night. We love you. Sayonara.
This is one that the judge said. It's not really good for closing out the podcast, but I thought it was funny. When Vinny is showing that the visually impaired woman needs new glasses, the judge goes, "Let the record show the defendant is holding up 2 fingers."